Yes.
Ahmed. Okay, Ahmed, period.
Thank you, Professor Ballard, and good afternoon, everybody, from my side as well. And I note that we are only the one who use the layout of the conference. That way, maybe ask for. Okay. We note that we are the only one who use the layout of the conference. That way, we ask for discount next year. Okay, Professor Gebauer, before the lunch, referred to the problem of corruption. Now I will present to you how we introduce corruption into Lean and how can Lean actually deal with this problem. To do that, we have our presentation with brief motivation, objective, and our research methodology. Then we will have a brief theoretical framework about corruption and Lean construction. Then we present our results and finish with summary before discussion. Why we should actually study corruption? You see here that our construction industry is the most corrupt sector among all of the economic sector. We are engineering, we like numbers. If we see the cost of corruption, it is an average of 10% of the global construction market force. More deeper point or important point is the life of people. You see, here, for example, in the collapse of a factory in Bangladesh, more than 1,000 people died due to corruption. That way, our aim actually to study corruption in construction and try to reduce it with Lean approach. But when we did that, we found that there is weak points that corruption can be actually a barrier for the good implementation of Lean. And that way we say, okay, we have first to protect Lean construction from corruption, then use Lean to reduce corruption. To do that, I show here you our research methodology where we look in the searching in real world problem and in the research methodology available in Lean construction, and we take the interface between them, which is the action research. And we develop this design research. We design our methodology based on these two methodology in line with the constructive research, which you can see here. As method, we use interview, observation, and the benchmarking is the way to develop our anti-corruption toolkit. To do that, here is a mint mapping for corruption in construction. To understand the corruption in construction, may we have to do with all of these aspects: definition of corruption, the form of corruption, causes and consequence, and risk management as well. If we speak about the form of corruption and the project phases, here is one example. You see that in the planning phase, for example, there is a facility payment to get a building license. This facility payment, you can see it as well in the execution phases. Moreover, we study intensively the effort against corruption in the construction industry, which is the main tool for us to benchmark the best practice of this organization or activity like Federation, International Federation of Consulting Engineering or the Global Infrastructure Anti-Corruption Center. And as you see here, our aim to have Lean construction in board. And the key for that, we believe that the key is to consider corruption as waste in Lean. If we come to Lean construction, you know that, every one of you. And if you look here, people, culture, value management, cost management, all of this issue actually related to corruption or corruption related to this issue. We just focus in this stage in the theory on the practical of Lean construction, which means the theory of Professor Koskela on the last planar system of Professor Ballard. And we understand the Lean. So what we do, we study the relation or the impact of corruption in all of these two parts, theory and practice. If we come to the transformation concept or model in the theory of Professor Koskela, we will see the impact of corruption in the material we will see that the material is an essential gateway for corruption, and there is many report about that. If you see that here also the labor corruption decreases productivity from the case study, there is many laborers were employed not for their experience but for the relationship with senior manager. For machine is the same case. If we go and see corruption with the flow model, without corruption, the flow should be in such way. With corruption, you see, the corruption impact negatively the information flow as well as the material flow and labors and the assembly. And in such case, with corruption, the flow will be like this. Also here a negative impact in the flow concept. We come to the value concept or value generation. The value for us in lean is the heart of lean. And lean, okay. And if we define, whatever you define value as a quality or as cost, money, or even the value, the life of people, corruption as well is have a negative impact in the value. We come now to the last planar system. Before last planar system, we see that it's a bush system which is should, it's green amber for everything. But with corruption, corruption can actually be a reason for constraints or impact negatively as well the constraints analysis process. Which in one of the case study, there is a subcontractor. He will commit to do the work, but he sells the contract for other subcontractor, and so the chain will be longer, which means for that he commits that he can do the work, but in reality he will not able to do that. The same is with the will do the work. Here we see that there is a conflict of interest. It is an example. Here when one subcontractor commit to do the work, and he mentioned, yeah, he will do the work, but he was not doing the work, and the reason for that, he will not do that so quickly. He waits to open a new area because, yes, it's impact negatively. What we come with our result up to now, that value impacted or the corruption impact negatively cost, quality, time, transformation, flow generation, and the best planar system that allow us to consider corruption actually as waste. But corruption is not only waste, it's a core waste, because corruption can be the reason for waiting. In one of the case study, that there were awaiting to enter the site to obtain permission entrance the site, and the people responsible for that asking for money to allow a team to enter the site. Up to this stage, we can determine that we can now, when we consider corruption as a waste in lean, we can apply the solving the problem in lean construction, apply it to corruption. What we found, actually, we found that the main reason for corruption is lack of accountability, integrity, and lack of transparency. What we will do, you see that the joint term or word here is the lack of. We take integrity, accountability, and transparency and develop a concept. Okay, what we can consider these three together. We say, okay, it is like a steam cells. This principle should be applied and existing in all lean concept or lean tools. That means if we have a lean tools or lean concept and we don't have one of this principle, we try to implement this principle in these tools. Transparency, I will not speak so long about transparency. Accountability is available in lean. I will speak about integrity, where we look for a model fit to our lean core and lean concept. We found from the 60 year of 2013, there's many scholars were work in the integrity. We just take a simplification. and we take one, which is the integrity is honoring one word, because in this model, Earhart link integrity to productivity and performance, and that is one of the lean aim, to increase productivity and the performance. Be careful that each one word consists of 6 words, one of them is moral, ethic. I cannot promise you that I will give you money if you give me the project, or award me the project. This is not the word which we mean here, because it's not including in moral or ethical or legal standards. Let me go to our case study, and we test actually this with last planar system, and we found that integrity transplantation into last planar system increase actually in BBC, but it is actually not enough. What we need actually, we need all of this set. We are not able actually to implement all of this toolkit together. We have actually a strategy or implementation strategy where we see, okay, we can start in project level and in long term in organization level, and this toolkit will actually help in reducing corruption in our industry. I'm finished. I'm coming here to fill the gap. From our research, we consider corruption as waste. Corruption is a barrier to implementation of corruption, and we can say that we should use the last planar system as a practical tool of lean to enhance the integrity and to fight corruption in our industry. There is many opportunity for new research in this area, as today morning Professor Gebauer and Professor Ballard mentioned the next level of research. One point I would like to say that the improvement in the BBC in our case study was not only because of the implementation of the integrity, because we have to consider the learning effect of the last planar system. Thank you very much.